Welcome back to a brand new explainer right here on the Sportx Radar YouTube channel. I am absolutely thrilled to have you with us today. Look, we're doing something a little different this time. We are officially putting on our football economist hats to deliver a critical, totally data-driven analysis of FIFA's recent decision-making processes. We're going to look directly at the raw data, the technical realities behind the 2026 World Cup in the USA, and really break down the numbers, the logistics, and the historical precedents that somehow led us to this exact moment.
Okay, so let's just dive right into this with a question that's literally echoing around stadiums globally right now. Has the beautiful game priced out its true fans in favor of corporate greed? I know it's an aggressive hook, but honestly, it perfectly captures the systemic issue we're dealing with here. We are witnessing this rapid, undeniable commodification of the sport, where the everyday fan is just increasingly marginalized. Before we get all lost in the romance of the game, we really need to sit down and look at the hard, cold economic realities dictating its future.
To do that methodically, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll hit the cost of modern football, a history of host controversies, the 2026 ticket price crisis, the USA temperature factor, and finally, reclaiming the beautiful game. Let's get into it.
Starting with Section 1, the cost of modern football, the commodification of the sport.
Right, so there is this stark divide currently reshaping our sport. Think of it like a tug of war. On one side, you have the traditional, ethical values of football. Accessibility, local fan inclusion, fair play, the stuff we love. But on the other side, well, those represent the sterile, boardroom commercial concerns that are increasingly dominating international football decisions. We're talking maximizing sponsorships, expanding profit margins, and giving absolute priority to VIPs. As a football economist, what I see looking at this isn't just a minor shift in values. No way. It's a fundamental restructuring of the sport's entire business model to prioritize commercial scale way over community inclusion.
Moving on to Section 2, a history of host controversies, a pattern of questionable decisions.
When we take a step back and look backward, a very clear chronological pattern starts to build. Just think about past decades. The international community was repeatedly rocked by widespread bribery allegations surrounding host selections. Then, as we moved into recent years, we all witnessed these obvious, undeniable privileges and concessions being granted to Arab countries during bidding and hosting processes. And now, well, jumping to 2026, we see the USA selected in a move that seemingly prioritizes sheer commercial scale above literally everything else. This timeline basically proves that ethical values frequently lose out to commercial and political leverage behind closed doors.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that when you examine the data outlining these past tournaments, the pattern is impossible to ignore. The widespread bribery allegations and those overt privileges granted to specific nations, they've consistently generated intense public backlash. I mean, fans are not blind to this. The negative reactions and the protests we've seen on social media and in the streets are a direct response to international sports authorities making these massively commercial, closed-door decisions that completely bypass the actual fans. Which brings us to Section 3, the 2026 ticket price crisis, alienating the traditional fan. Take a look at this. The contrast in the 2026 pricing model is just stark. The corporate and VIP tier, that targets global sponsors, and for them, there's absolutely no financial barrier. But then, drop down to general admission, the tier meant for local, traditional fans. The pricing applied here is absurdly high. It basically acts as a massive financial wall. Strictly from an economic perspective, this pricing model is intentionally designed to extract maximum revenue from the wealthy, all while actively alienating the working-class fan who, let's be honest, actually built the culture of this sport. And you can see it everywhere online. Fan groups across digital platforms are universally echoing this exact sentiment. They view this absurd pricing policy not just as regular inflation, but as a direct attack on the everyday fan. And they hit the nail on the head. When you price out your core demographic, you aren't just selling a seat to someone else, you are fundamentally altering the atmosphere and the very soul of the tournament. And trust me, that altered atmosphere is going to be drastic. Just compare the massive commercial and sponsor allocations against that tiny, tiny sliver left for traditional local fans. Honestly, as an economist, seeing this visually is deeply alarming. It proves exactly who the 2026 pricing model is designed for. The stadiums will be packed, sure, but they're going to be packed with high-income tourists and corporate clients, while the true lifelong supporters are literally stuck watching it on a screen at home. Let's look at Section 4, the USA temperature factor, logistics versus athlete performance. We absolutely have to ask this critical question. Is the USA truly the right choice when extreme summer temperatures actively threaten the core of the game? Because when commercial viability is the only thing dictating the host, basic logistical realities, like, say, climate suitability, are often completely ignored or downplayed. We need to contrast the boardroom's choice with the actual physical demands of a high-intensity football tournament. Guys, this is a massive technical concern. While the optimal temperature for peak football performance is relatively moderate, the average USA summer temperature is already pushing safe limits. And those extreme summer highs expected across many US host cities, those glowing red numbers you're seeing, that's not just a minor inconvenience for tourists complaining about the heat, that is a severe physical danger. So the crucial point we really need to take away from this data is this. Extreme summer temperatures in the USA present critical logistical challenges. This directly and negatively impacts athlete performance on the pitch. Players simply cannot maintain peak physical exertion in those extremes. Plus, it significantly degrades the overall fan experience in and around the stadiums. It represents a major technical flaw in the host selection process, proving once again that commercial expansion was prioritized way over the practical physical realities of the sport.
Finally, Section 5, Reclaiming the Beautiful Game, the Path to Fair Play.
So what do we do about it? Well, for a fairer future, we need concrete structural reforms. Step 1, we absolutely must implement fully transparent host selection processes to permanently eliminate the shadow of bribery, period. Step 2, authorities must conduct strict technical and climatic audits prior to selection. No more ignoring extreme heat just because a market happens to be profitable. And Step 3, we have to enforce fan-first pricing models to protect local accessibility. The economics must serve the sport, not the other way around.
Because right now, zero. That is exactly the amount of say ordinary fans currently have when international sports authorities make these massive, commercially driven decisions. The fans are the ultimate consumers, right? They're the heartbeat of the sport. Yet their influence on these critical logistical and economic choices is absolute zero.
But hey, your voice does matter here, and we want to turn the floor over to you. What do you actually think is a fair ticket price for a World Cup match? Like, how much is too much for you? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and let's keep this vital debate going. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today on Sportx Radar. Keep questioning the data, and I will see you in the next one.